Okay, welcome back to Titch TV and welcome back to Titch and Geez's results roundup, where we go over the 10 Premier League results and just see how that sort of affects the league. And this is now round 5, and this is episode 4 for us. As always, you know, it's me and Geezer. So, Geezer, first and foremost, how you doing after the international break? Yeah.
Good, yeah, mate. Pretty boring, wasn't it, the international break? And that was good to get some football back this weekend. Yeah. I was sort of looking forward to it coming back. Not so much, us facing Man City, mind you, but I was looking forward to it coming back. International break really bores the shit out of me. You know, it really does. These qualifiers are just pointless to me. Pointless to watch anyway. I don't enjoy it. Especially watching England. It's even worse to watch.
Well, I'm the same as you. I didn't watch the Ukraine game, and I didn't watch the Scotland game either. Yeah, because it just doesn't interest me at all. But yeah, I was looking forward to getting back to the Premier League, and just like yourself, obviously I knew our game, which is second on the list. I weren't looking forward to it, but I was looking forward to seeing how we approach that game. But anyway, we'll get on to that. That is the second game. First game, which was the 12:30 kickoff, was Wolves 1, Liverpool 3. How much of that game did you see, and thoughts on that?
Yeah, I watched quite a bit of that one because I get up in the morning for that one and watched it. It was early morning for me. It was Friday night, wasn't it? So I watched it, and I couldn't believe how bad Liverpool were in the first half. They were dire. They were terrible. Absolutely terrible. They pulled it round in the end. But, that surprised me how poor they were. And, again, was it Wolves? They've given another team a game and come out with nothing.
Yeah.
You know, they were really good in the first half and really poor in the second. It's just... I've been saying it all along with Wolves. Man United, they could have beaten them. Didn't take anything. Done the same here. You'd worry if you're Wolves fan. You're another one where they're putting in 60-70% of a performance and not getting any result. And I'll be getting worried after a while. But there was some good things to admire about Wolves in the first half.
Did you get a chance to look at a new player for them? I think he's making his debut. His name is Bellegarde. He's playing as a 10 for Wolves.
I did notice him actually. Yeah, he looked quite decent.
Yeah,
he looked quite decent in that first half. Yeah, it was so completely different Wolves in the first half to the second. And you think I expect Liverpool to be a lot better, but then again they got the result. Yeah. And they put the points on the board. But it's not. I don't think they're anywhere near where they need to be yet, Liverpool. But they were missing, obviously, Van Dijk. I think that made a difference.
And Trent was missing as well. He's still out, isn't he? I think it's an injury. Yeah,
who's that, Titch?
Trent Alexander-Arnold also didn't play.
Yeah, he was missing as well. Yeah, and it made a big difference at the back there. The Wolves are getting at them.
Yeah. Well, this is just a random sort of thing that I noticed, and just your thoughts on this. So, Liverpool obviously started the second half, on top of Wolves, well on top. Then, after I'd say about 53 minutes, Klopp had his subs ready to come on. One of the people coming off was Gakpo. Anyway, whilst they was waiting, Gakpo actually equalised, but he still took him straight off along with Diego Jota. Is that quality management, or would you have at that point kept him on the pitch, seeing as he just scored? What would you have done in that situation, basically?
Yeah, it's tough one, isn't it? I'm trying to remember who he brought on for them, Titch.
He brought on Elliot and Darwin Núñez for Gakpo and Diogo Jota.
Yeah. It's a tough one, especially when you scored a goal. But I said it might have been his plan all along, regardless if he scored a goal. I don't think that will influence Klopp if he thinks he's got a better chance of, winning the game
Yeah.
with what he's bringing on. Because I think even last week, Liverpool, I think the substitution he made the difference.
Yeah.
If I remember last week, it won them the game. And that was Darwin Núñez, and Elliott was part of that.
Yeah.
And one other that I can't remember, but that made a big difference. So, and even in this game, it probably did too.
Yep.
I can't remember what was the score. That was
3-1.
the equaliser.
Yeah, that was the equaliser, and then they went on to win 3-1.
Yeah, just trying to remember who the other goal scorers were.
Andy Robertson scored, and then there was the own goal in the 91st minute.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was. But I couldn't believe how poor Liverpool were in that first half.
Mm.
You know, they really were poor. Just something I noticed. I went, wow, how bad are they? You know, it was giving me hope because West Ham are facing them next week, and I was going, do you know what? I can see chances here. You know, looking at Liverpool. But you'd want to get it done early, and don't let them make them substitutes, and don't let them back in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see that there's opportunities there against Liverpool if you take them.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to the second game on this list, which was obviously another 1-3 defeat. This time, West Ham 1, Man City 3. What do you think of the game overall?
Attack versus defence, basically. And, you know, there was nothing about the game that I didn't expect to see. You know, it was exactly played out as I thought it would play out. There's some positives there for West Ham at times. But, and I'll say this like I said it against Brighton. Brighton, we were clinical as when we counter-attacked, scored 3 great goals. And we had 9 men behind the ball most of the game. But having said that, Areola becomes our man of the match. So that 9-man defence is doing a job, but it's not really doing it that well when our goalkeeper's got to make that many saves. Yeah. And the same happened here. Areola was probably our man of the match. Because without him, it would probably have been 6th or 7th. And plus Haaland missed 2 absolute sitters.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't normally do. So as much as I thought we were in the game for a long period there, they got through us too many times. And the couple of goals we gave away there were poor, really poor. You know, the one again. I mean, I think he missed time. His jump gets under the ball and lets it bounce. And our little Bernardo Silva, as he does, nips in and pokes it in the net. Yep. It was a poor goal to give away, really poor. But, you know, I thought, you know, we scored a cracking goal. I thought the goal we scored was really good. You know, a good breakout goal. And the fact that they brought this another one from nowhere, this little Doku, he was fucking unreal, man. He was quality. And I know people are going to slag off Soufal. He's not good enough right back. But I'll tell you what, I'm a right back, and I wouldn't want to have been facing him that day. I'll tell you that now.
Exactly.
He can come in on the right. He can go out wide with his left. He can go in on the right. He's quick. He's fast. He's nippy. He's tricky. Jesus Christ. You know, it's a defender's worst nightmare, a player like him. And he had a cracking game, didn't he? And it was probably the difference, you know?
Yeah.
But there it is. You got to double up on him all the time. That's the problem. You're dragging Bowen back to the right back position just to try to cover someone like him.
Yeah.
And and the trouble when we defend like this, like we're doing, 9 men behind the ball now, it's so much harder than attacking with 9 men. You know what I'm saying? You've got to work twice as hard to do that. You mentally got to work twice as hard. Physically, you work twice as hard. And we've been doing that now since Chelsea, since Brighton, and now Man City. Honestly, it's going to tire these players out because you're forever, ever on the back foot. You're forever chasing. You're forever thinking. And, tough game to play. And I think we've done it really well against Chelsea and Brighton. But this was a bridge too far. They were too good on the day. And so when you think about them missing De Bruyne, Stones, Grealish, you know, and they can throw out that team. And I was saying Haaland probably didn't have a great day, and he's still got on the score sheet.
Yeah.
It's Man City, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't mean much, losing that. We knew we were going to lose it. I thought we'd probably lose at least 2-0 or so. 3-1. It's about fair, the result, because, like I said, they could have had 6 or 7. We could have had a second. Well, great save by Edison from the header from Zuma. That was a good save. And Areola saved. He's keeping doing his work. He hasn't had a clean sheet yet, but like I said, he's probably been man of the match 3 times.
Right. That's enough about Man City because we know what they are. Credit to them. They are what they are. Positives. Would you say, the fact that we've scored in all 5 of our games, is that a big positive for West Ham, considering we didn't sign a striker and we actually lost a striker in the window? And
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
we're scoring goals, which is good. It's not as if we're, losing these games and not scoring at all. I mean, there were times last year, guys, that we'd be lucky if we had 2 shots on target in a game.
Yeah.
And no goals, but lucky we really had games there with hardly a shot on target. So we are doing that, even against, the 3 teams we knew we were going to struggle against coming at us was Chelsea, Brighton and Man City. So we have scored against all of them. We took 6 points out of them 3 games. So it's not doom and gloom. But, it was just inevitable what we were doing. There were some positives there with Paquetá again. Zuma was fairly solid for most of the game. I thought Emerson linked up well with Paquetá again when they could. But, there was some positives there. Yeah, we are scoring. We're just conceding as well. For the sake that the positive, we're scoring every game, but we're conceding every game. And, we haven't got a clean sheet yet. But hopefully that will come. But it just worries me when you go that defensive that your goalkeeper has to pull off that many saves.
Yeah.
Because obviously your defence isn't that effective. A good defence now, our goalkeeper will have very little to do. But he finds himself very busy, is our Areola.
All right, we'll move on. The next game on this list is Spurs 2, Sheffield United 1. And an interesting thing about this game is that Spurs was 1-0 down until the 98th and 100th minute when they ultimately won the game. So, and I would have to say, special mention to Richarlison, who obviously scored that equaliser, and it was acknowledged by the team and the fans afterwards. I think everybody was happy for him, basically. So yeah, did you watch the game? Thoughts on the game and whatnot?
Yeah, I did, mate. I did because I'm still watching my mate Big Ange's progress.
Yeah.
So I just want to see how he's going on, see how they were playing, and really they controlled nearly all the game. So, dominating the whole game. And late on, they have a corner, and that gap boy Harmer again. Is it Gustavo Harmer?
Yeah, Harmer. Yeah.
I think it's Gustavo. His name. His cracking name, Gustavo Harmer. And he scored a banger the other week. I remember hitting the top corner of that boy.
Yeah.
And came over to him and he slotted it away brilliantly, really brilliantly. And Tottenham, a game they should win, you'd think, and it looked like they were losing all 3 points. But he made the changes, Big Ange, and Richarlison came on.
Yeah, on 80 minutes.
Yeah, and he ends up scoring a goal with a cracking header, and then sets up the winner.
Yeah.
And they just, they didn't give up. And I think this is, again, what you get under Ange Postecoglou. They believe in it. They just never stopped believing what they could do and get it back, and they did. They would. I don't think they would have done last year, Tottenham. They wouldn't have done. They would have crumbled.
Yeah.
And and they got the 2 goals at the end. They made it hard for themselves. They played better in probably all the other games they played than this. And were fairly comfortable. But it was one of them games. It's like they got a goal out of nowhere, and next thing they're under the pressure. But they didn't panic. And I think that's something that Postecoglou will make sure they don't panic. Just keep going, keep working, keep trying, and opened them up twice. and got the 3 points. And on he goes. And an interesting stat the commentator made there. That's his 50th home game without loss
In a row.
For Postecoglou. 50 games in a row. That's over 2 seasons, really, isn't it? Home games.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't lost a home game for 50 now.
Wow.
There you go.
I know it's only one game. Would you say this is confirmation that this is Spurs are different? They're not Spursy under Postecoglou. The fact that they went on to win that game.
It confirms 2 things. And I say, look, I'm a big fan of Ange, right? But it's not perfect yet. Nowhere near it. Because the Tottenham fans are getting carried away. They're winning the leagues and they're going to win everything and win the. No, it's nowhere near it yet. And Postecoglou knows that. If ever you listen to his interviews, you'll find out, what he's all about. It's not about that. And and he even said, look, if the Spurs fans think we're going to go and win everything in the world, let them enjoy it. It doesn't bother me. But it's nowhere near right yet. It's not perfect. It's just had a really good start to the season.
Yeah.
And next week they've got the North London derby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people will probably think, Tottenham supporters might be getting carried away now, think they're going to Arsenal and smashing them. And that's probably not going to happen. But it showed you that they're vulnerable. They could have lost that game 3 points. But like you said, Titch, the Spursy tag, they turned the Spursy tag around there. Because they would normally lose that game. And they didn't. They stuck with it and got 3 points. And scored 2 good goals.
Right,
Second goal was a great goal.
Sorry, Kieran. Sorry.
Go on, mate.
I thought you'd finished. I'm going to say finally, it's a twofold question. Richarlison was brought on 80. He scored and then set up the winner. First question is, was that an inspired? Can the manager take great credit for that substitution? And secondly, do you think this will be a turning point for Richarlison and his form at Spurs?
Absolutely, it could be. And I said I'm not sure Charlison's the man that he needs, especially after losing Kane. Charlison's nowhere near that level. But I said last week that I don't think there's a better manager that Richarlison could be under than Postecoglou. To make it and to get better. And what he's done, like he said, he's suffering his mental health. That could be for me that he's just low on confidence. He's struggling with his own head because his confidence is low. He's not feeling right. He's got, he doesn't think he can make it. Whereas a manager like him will say, which he left him on the bench. Yeah, all right. And all he says to him, you keep working, you'll contribute. You'll make a difference. Just keep working hard at it. And he comes on, and if ever you want to, if that is his mental health problems, his lack of confidence or esteem, well, you just come on, scored a cracking header, and then set up the winner. And when you see when that winner come in, basically last kick of the game, the whole stadium erupted, for him. So if that doesn't lift the boy, I don't know what will. I think it's been great for him.
Yeah.
So.
Right. So we had another 1-3 home defeat. Problems. Man United 1, Barcelona 3.
Oh, fucking hell, man. They don't stop surprising you, do they, Brian?
No.
My God. That's probably the best performance of the weekend was then, Brian.
Yeah.
From what I see, I thought they were superb, mate. They're just another kettle of fish, Brian. They really are. I'm trying to remember who scored their goals.
Right. So ex-Man United player Welbeck opened the scoring.
Yeah.
Højlund had a goal disallowed that I've seen everybody crying about, trying to force it. It was in. Pascal Gross scored a very good goal, actually. João Pedro, and then Hannibal Mejbri. I don't know how to pronounce it. He got a consolation.
Oh, yeah. Hannibal Lecter. He got one back in the end, didn't he? Yeah. Just, I thought they were just quality, Brian. Played them off the park. At times, just played them off the park. They were superb. And they just get better and better every time I see Brighton. And, it just shows you how important the result we got, or how good it was to get a result against them, the way we played it.
I was going to ask you that. And, now that you mentioned it, they've won all 4 of their games, and then obviously we're the only team that's taken any points. And obviously, we beat them. But yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, we gave everyone a blueprint. They haven't taken it up, have they? Newcastle or Man United.
Yeah.
But even though it's not pretty, but it done the job.
Mm.
But yeah, Man United tried. Huffed and puff. Rashford looked lively, but I think he lacked a bit of finishing here and there. Yeah, it's not much to say about Brighton. They're just really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And I think they should have had another one as well. What I remember, was it Matoma?
Maybe. Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, he should. Yeah, I remember now because I watched the highlights on Match of the Day. But yeah, he definitely should have scored.
Yeah, they were too good for him, mate. And and like you say, I was after not getting Ange. Well, when he went to Celtic instead of West Ham, Ten Hag was another pick of mine that I really rated. Watching Ajax play, how they played football, and I expected him to be doing a lot better there by now. And I don't think he's anywhere near it. Watching West Ham, watching Man United. I don't think they're anywhere near what I expected at this stage. He's been there long enough now to have, to see some kind of philosophy, some kind of style, some kind of plan. I don't see it. It just looks really hit and miss. Man United. You don't know what they're doing in there. I'm really surprised. It just doesn't seem to be together at all. Them, they don't even look like a top 4 team to me, anywhere near it at the moment.
Yeah. Well,
so they didn't look that great last year, to be fair, and they got top 4 and won a trophy.
Yeah.
That's why I expect them to really kick on this year and look the part. You look at them and go, yeah. But they're not looking it at the moment.
Right. 2 questions again. On the disabled team, when Stuart asked, which managers potentially would get sacked first, the first person I said was Ten Hag, as one of my candidates. Do you feel he's under pressure, and do you think that they are behind the scenes? Do you think there might be whispers of, what do we do here?
Yeah, I think it's always the case at Man United, isn't it? You're on under extreme pressure there, aren't you? Extreme pressure. Results are the only thing that matters to them people.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing else. They're only interested in results. And I say that lucky enough, he did stick a trophy on the ball last year, and he did get him qualified for Champions League. So I think that'll hold him in good stead for a little while.
Yeah.
But I think you'd expect to be seeing it on the pitch by now. I don't see any system there. I can watch West Ham. I know what I'm going to see. Right?
Yeah.
I can watch Man City. I know what I'm going to see. I look at Man United, and I don't know what I'm seeing. It's just a bit of a mixed match. I can't put my finger on it, but I thought he'd had, because when he was at Ajax, you could see it was Ajax. They played in a certain way, an attacking style of football that and it was the same every week. Yeah. Man United, I don't see that. I don't know what I see.
Can I actually? We might spend longer on this. Right, just so I don't lose my train of thought. Just yes, one word answer. Take the history out of the clubs. From what you've seen football-wise, who finishes higher, Brighton or Man United?
Oh, Brighton, by a long shot.
Okay, now this is what you. But going off what you just said, yeah. Do you think that, because I know Ajax, I know their DNA is from the under, let's say 6, 7, 8, 9. They all it's a philosophy. So is there a false reading on Ten Hag because he was at Ajax? And the reality is really it's very easy to play that because it's ingrained into the club.
Well, I'm starting to question myself now. Was I, when I was promoting him, thinking how good he was, wanted him to come away. Was it because he was just in the right system at Ajax and, everything, the players were already, it was all built into them how we're playing. Yeah. And he's told, this is how we play. Yeah. There they go. And plus he's in the Dutch league, which isn't the strongest in the world, but still, they still played in the Champions League and they were exciting and they were good. And but maybe it was just laid out for him, and he's gone to Man United. It was a basket case when he turned up there, wasn't it? And maybe he's got to work a bit harder at getting it right, and he's a bit lost. I don't know, but yeah, it could be a good point, Titch. That maybe.
You know, I'm just saying this because now it's you know, his time at Man United. You know, you was following him, and now you're seeing, okay, this is not the same. So I'm not just jumping on. There's no bandwagon. That's my thought process from this. But I'm thinking it doesn't look good at Man United. There's no plan. There's no philosophy. It looks terrible.
No.
So maybe that could be the reason.
Maybe that's a good point, Titch. It really is, and maybe it's that. So maybe I gave him too much more credit than he deserves.
And you wouldn't be the only one. You know, everybody was singing his praises while he was at Ajax, and so you wouldn't be the only one if that is the case. 1 sec. Right, so I haven't even seen, I don't think, the goal for this game. Right. Fulham 1, Luton 0, which, let me just get my facts straight, means Luton are now the only team to not pick up any points, and they have played one game less than majority of the team. So yeah, Fulham 1, Luton 0. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember the game.
I'll tell you.
I did watch it. I watched 25 minutes at least.
Carlos Vinicius, formerly of Spurs, he actually scored in the 65th minute. If that helps.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, Luton looked the same as they did the week before. They're a championship side, mate, trying to get by in the Premier League. And obviously the points show that, don't they? They're not staying in this league like this, that's for sure. You know, Fulham aren't at their bed. They're nowhere near the team they were last year either. I think they're far in the top, bits and pieces with Fulham, but I mean, I don't think they'll be relegated, but they could be in the mix. You know, because there's quite a few clubs at the moment look like they're going to be in the mix.
Yeah,
and I think Fulham are there. They might be the best side of it, though.
Nothing more to say on that game, is there? Really?
Not really. There weren't much of a game.
Right, this one again. I didn't see. I haven't even seen the goal to this game, but Aston Villa were losing 1-0 at home to Palace, going into the 87th minute. Villa scored on 87, 98. And 101 to end up winning the game 3-1. Tell me about this game, because like I said, I haven't seen any of this game.
Yeah, for what it was it was a very uneventful game. Villa and Palace, it really was. There weren't much happening either end.
Yeah,
there wasn't a lot going on, and Palace got a goal, and it went to the end that Villa come good and banged in these goals. It was much of a non-event, the game.
Yeah. It
really was. And I'm trying to remember who scored for Villa for 3 goals.
For one of the guys, Duran, who I'm not familiar with, he scored, equalised. Douglas Luiz scored a penalty, and then Leon Bailey scored their third. Yeah.
Yes, mate. It was, they ran away with it in the end.
Yeah.
Watkins hardly touched the ball. It was, and Palace looked pretty toothless, to be honest, for most of the game. And, it's another non-event of a game, really.
I don't know if the right word is acceptable. Is it acceptable to, I know there's more injury time now, but, you know, after 86 minutes, you're winning 1-0 away from home. Is it acceptable to lose that game 3-1?
But it never used to be. So if you got to that stage, you're meant to hold on for it. You know what I mean? You're meant to. The worst you can do is concede a goal.
Yeah.
Concede 3.
Yeah.
It's worrying. You know, that's really worrying. And you got a World Cup winning goalkeeper in your sticks as well. And not great.
Yeah.
Not great. It was. I think Palace I don't know. They're a strange one. Them. I don't think they've got any fear of relegation or anything else.
Nah.
But they're a strange mix. They look like they could be so much better with the players they've got on board. You know,
Yeah.
they've got so much pace in that team and attacking players. They've got a lot of attacking, pacey players, but they don't seem to do a lot with it. And like I said, I could be wrong. They could be really good. I know it's Hodgson went on the sideline. Don't know.
Oh, he was ill actually. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he was ill. He felt ill.
Yeah, that might have made a difference in
exactly.
in this year. He might have been the difference.
He could have done. One question, another one that I was meant to ask about Man United, and acceptable is the right word. Is it acceptable that after 5 games and you're 9 points behind Man City, you're not going to win the league this season? And that's a fact. As Man United, is that acceptable?
No, of course it's not. You know, I mean, you're the biggest club in the world. It's never going to be acceptable. You know, Man United fans have had to get used to it since the demise of Alex Ferguson.
Yeah,
and it's been like that ever since. And the rise of Man City. You know, you should. You know, we just started the season and they're basically out of the running.
Yeah.
You know, that's unbelievable when you think about the Ferguson days.
Yeah.
You know, but even when he won the leagues all them times, it was usually someone, you know, two or three teams close that couldn't, you know, mount a challenge, whether it be Liverpool at the time or Arsenal or whoever. It was, or Chelsea. There was a challenge coming.
Exactly.
But at the moment, you don't see anyone challenging. And for Man United to almost be out of the race, before the season even really gets going, yeah, it's bad. It's not good. It's not good. It's not where they want to be. Let's put it that way. And for the money they've spent over the last 10 years, they shouldn't be there, but they are.
Right. So I took some credit. So when we spoke the other day, I said, you know, I feel that, and you know, you agreed. This is now the start of the season because transfers done, international, whatever, right? I then heard, you know, on Friday, I think, Pep Guardiola say the same thing. He feels this is now the start. Right. So I'm just putting it into context, Man United. If Saturday was the start of the season, Saturday was also the day that Man United confirmed you're not going to win the league. So in theory, the first game of the season, they know they're not going to win the league.
Yeah. And to have Brighton come to your home ground and pull your pants down.
Exactly. Brighton.
Yeah.
Right. So Eddie Howe's Newcastle, they finally got another victory. They won 1-0. He rung the changes. And one of those changes was Callum Wilson to start instead of Isak. He got the winner. Did you see the game? And yeah, Newcastle won, Brentford 0.
Yeah, again, and another one that weren't very exciting. I didn't see it all, mate. I didn't see the highlights of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it weren't vintage. Newcastle don't look like half the team they did last season at the moment. Nowhere near it. They're not on point at all. I know they were missing Linton.
Yeah.
He was out. But yeah, they didn't look great, man. You know, Brentford, same. It was pretty tight game. Really tight game. There weren't much in it.
And it was a penalty.
Usual. Callum Wilson comes up as he does and gets the winner.
Yeah.
And that's it. But yeah, another sort of non-eventful game from what I remember of it. Weren't that exciting because they were very exciting to watch last year, Newcastle.
Yeah.
They really were really entertaining to watch, and I enjoyed watching them. And I think this year they've struggled with their start. And have not been quite, you know, the Rolls Royce they were last season at the moment.
You know, last season they prided themselves on clean sheets. I think ultimately at the end, Man City then had the best defense. I think this was their first clean sheet in 5 games, so it clearly shows that you know it's a big difference from last year, and that's before the Champions League campaign has even got underway. Yeah,
and they start that this week, don't they?
Yeah. It all starts this week. All the European fixtures.
Yeah, but maybe they've got one eye on that as well. You know, I don't know what their priorities are this year. Newcastle, I've got a funny feeling that they won't make top 4. You know, if you go by the first 5 games, and they got Champions League as well, I don't think they will make top 4.
Another thing that I think maybe springs to mind is that last year I know that Eddie Howe was basically, where possible, just picking the same team. The fact that he's made all of these changes for this game, some in force or one in force, Joe Linton, does that imply to you that he's kind of not comfortable as he was last year? And now he's doing things maybe that he didn't need to do last year.
Well, I think it makes a massive difference when you've only got the league to worry about. I mean, Arsenal only had the league to worry about last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
And had a flyer. So did Newcastle, and they had a great season, both of them. But both of them teams now are in Europe.
Yeah.
And one thing Man City can do is they can do both. What these two teams now got to prove to everyone else and Man City is, can you do it? Can you match Man City in the Champions League and the league? And we shall see. I mean, I haven't been overly impressed with Arsenal this season yet. They're getting the results. They're doing a job, but they're not firing on all cylinders. Where when you look at Man City, you go, "Yep, nothing's changed there."
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll say they've got the Champions League coming up this weekend or this weekend.
This week, yeah.
So we'll see how it affects, if it affects any of their league form. Yeah. I mean, Newcastle will be disappointed because I think they would like to have got a bit more points on the board before the Champions League started. Just to show what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll be a bit disappointed, I think, Newcastle. But I say maybe they've got one eye on this Champions League because they're in a hard group, I think, aren't they, Newcastle?
Yeah, they've got. Yeah, they are. It's a hard group. I know that they are playing. Is it Inter or AC? One of the Milan teams.
Yeah, it's one of the Milans, isn't it?
They've got. You know what I'll do? And rather than look now, I'll just put it on the screen as we're talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got a tough group. You just said something. I was going to use that word. Disappointing, maybe. Right, Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0, right? Once again, is it acceptable that the amount of money you've spent, you've got 5 points from 5 games and you've only scored 5 goals? Is it acceptable that you are also not going to win the league this year? Is it acceptable that you don't have no European football this year? So, the league is you go all guns blazing. What's going on at Chelsea, basically?
I don't know. They seem to be in that rut that Tottenham are in, not so long ago, that, whatever manager they brought in, nothing fucking changed.
Yeah.
And they seem to be in that now. Now, one would think, obviously, Pochettino needs more time. But my God, they've spent £1 billion on players and they're paying wages like, there's no tomorrow. They've got a plethora of players that, they don't know what to do with. They bought so many, they unloaded about 12 or 13, but that last window to get rid of them. Gee, we need to get rid of some so we can bring more in. It's crazy. It's mental.
Yeah. And
you would think anyone who spent that kind of money would look the bollocks by now, wouldn't you? Look really good. And they're not. And out of all that money they spent, I don't think they bought a striker, which has been quite obvious for some time. They needed a top-notch striker.
They bought Jackson. They bought Nkunku, who's injured. But yeah, Jackson was.
Who they buy? Jackson. Is he classed as a striker?
He's a striker. Yeah, he's a striker, and Nkunku also, but he's injured.
Okay. Oh right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, both players injured. But yeah, I mean it's comical, isn't it, when you see all these teams have got no money or spend very little, or maybe spend 100 million and are doing well, or the likes of Brighton, who don't have to spend big at all. They just sell big. And, look 10 times the team that Chelsea do at the moment. I look twice the team that Man United are at the moment. You've got to take your hat off to that. Yeah. Because I'm sick of these big teams just throwing money at the problem. Yeah. And it's great. Actually, I'm not. I enjoy it. they keep throwing money at the problem as if that fixes it, and it doesn't. And Man United have done it. Everton have done it. It didn't work. You know, Chelsea have done it. It hasn't worked. Tottenham have done it in the past. It hasn't worked. What you want is the right guy at the helm, right, and the right bloody the right recruitment. Recruitment isn't about buying the best players from all over the world. Recruitment is it's an art.
Yeah.
And if you like, and Brighton have got that art, and I'm hoping Tim Steight's part of that network. You know, that he does bring in the right players for us, because I think it's an art to bring in the right players to play a game of football that you can win. And my God, Chelsea could do with a little bit of what Brighton does.
What was I going to say? I had a couple questions. Right, not even questions. One of them is a question, right? Before the transfer window, or even before the season started, you know, there was a link with Antonio to Chelsea, and I'm like, yeah, right. Now, from what I've seen from him this season, and from what I've seen from Chelsea, would that have been such a crazy thing, Antonio, in that Chelsea team, as they are now?
No, it would not at all. And he'd be a star in there.
Yeah,
he'd be an absolute star for Chelsea, because who else? Why wouldn't he be? You know how many Bobby's defences? They get up the pitch more for him as well. He'd probably get more service. You know, because they've got players that can get the ball into the middle, you know, and they've got pace, they've got everything there is.
Yeah.
But they're just not performing as a team yet. Like I say, it's early days for Pochettino. He might be the man to turn it round. You got to give it, you know what I mean? We can't blame everyone else's fuck-ups on him for the last 2 years or so, you know? He's just arrived. So, I'd like to give him time before we write Chelsea off. But of course, no, Antonio wouldn't have been a bad shout for them. Not at all.
Crazy.
Right. Divock Origi might have been a good shout from the way they're going at the moment. But well, they're too late on that, boy. He just signed his new contract, Antonio, hasn't he?
Oh, has he?
He has.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And I heard it today, Titch, and but he signed it 3 weeks ago, and they've kept it under wraps.
Okay. What is the deal?
He's signing. He's got to the end of this season. He signed a new contract for next season, right. and there's a year option after that.
Wow.
So he's nowhere.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think, you know, there was doubts after he spoke out. I don't think, you know, I've said this already, what he said about Scamacca and what, I don't think it was bad. I just think the timing of that being released, which wasn't down to him, not the greatest. Ultimately, it didn't affect us because we know we won that European tournament trophy.
Yeah.
And he started the season really well. So anyway,
absolutely. Like I say, there's been 3 games there. He's been absolutely brilliant. Now, if you can get him 3 out of 5 games being brilliant through a seat, I'll take that. Exactly. You know what I mean? When he's at his beastie mode, best. Yeah. And we've had 3 games of him being like that. So if we can get more of that, I'll be delighted.
This was an observation of mine from the very start, and then things during the game confirmed my not displeasure. That's the wrong word. My thoughts on. Anyway, so basically, when the lineups were announced, Bournemouth v Chelsea, Conor Gallagher was captain, and straight away I thought he's not a captain, right?
Was he?
Yeah. So then, obviously, I think Reece James. I get that because, you know, he's very influential. He's very, you can see it be in people's faces saying Conor Gallagher's not that guy. Now, what confirmed, you know, my doubt in him was there was a corner or something, and I see, as always, Thiago Silva telling everyone that Conor Gallagher was just standing there. So, does it make sense? You're away to Bournemouth. It's not the end of the season where you think, you know, Chelsea last year, you think, you know what, throw the youngsters in, throw the English players in. For me, that makes sense. But does it make sense that you've got someone like Thiago Silva on the pitch, Raheem Sterling on the pitch, and then you put Gallagher as captain? Does that make sense to you?
No, I didn't know that he was captain, and I'm bloody surprised. But the experience they've got on that pitch, you'd give it to him.
Mm.
I mean, he seems to be leaving every 10 minutes. Every time there's a window, he's out the door or whatever as well. He's too young. And, yes, it is surprising, yeah. But I suppose Pochettino might see something in him. Maybe I can't imagine him being the most senior person in that dressing room to stand up and.
No, he's not. He
Yeah.
looks like the least to me. He looks like the least person. And like I said, everything that confirmed my sort of like doubts was that corner. You know, Thiago Silva, you know how he is. He's telling everyone and he's doing his job. And Conor Gallagher was just standing there like, you know, rabbit in the headlights. I was like, you know, and now I start thinking Pochettino, that's a bad choice for me. And that's, as a manager, I'm thinking, I'm not sure why you've done that. Like maybe you've
what Thiago Silva was playing.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He'd be surely the most obvious choice of the captain for anyone.
Yeah.
For anything. He started.
Yeah. So for me, it would have to be Silva or Sterling, and you know, Thiago Silva is the obvious choice. Why would Conor be your captain? Another thing that Pochettino came out and said after the game is that Mudryk needs to have a better understanding of the game. Now, they spent 88 point something million on this guy and gave him an 8-year contract. But yet his manager's saying he needs a better understanding, not of our tactics, of the game. Is that worrying?
He's saying to Pochettino, I don't need to understand. I know him, I've got an 8-year contract. I'm getting paid a fortune. That's what I understand. I am absolutely minted now.
Crazy, isn't it? And you got to think they snatched him from the grasp of Arsenal, and Arsenal's probably thanking them for it. Right, 2 more games. Sorry, I've just come off it. Right, so Arsenal. Penultimate game was Everton 0, Arsenal 1.
Oh yeah. I got up. When was that? Was that a Sunday game? Was it? I got up Monday morning. I got up Monday morning here, right? Game had just through the night for me. So I watched it first thing in the morning, and my God, what a bore fest that was! Oh God, I was bored shitless. I thought it might be a good game. I thought, not so much from Everton's point of view, but it was yet again another game over the weekend that was attack versus defence. Everyone behind the ball for Everton, and it was boring. It was a really boring game. Arsenal weren't that great. They opened them up here and there. Pickford pulled off his usual couple of good saves, a couple of great efforts, but they did score a cracking winner. Trossard,
good team,
Marshall, really good goal, really good finish, and that was it really. But I did notice then, like Sean Dyche, I hate these managers that they're just so negative completely, because when they were 1-0 down, right, the game's up, that's the only thing they had. But they came at them a little bit then, Everton. They had to come out and try and somehow, and it actually rattled the Arsenal defence there for about 10 minutes. They were flapping a bit, Yeah. And you think, oh, God, maybe you should have had a little bit more ambition in this game. And because they were a little bit rattled there, Arsenal, because this is the difference. See Man City here, they go 1-0 up in this game. They're struck. They keep going.
Yeah.
I'm watching Arsenal players taking the ball to the corner, taking a corner kick, keeping it in the corner, trying to waste time. They ain't Man City. They weren't convincing on winning this game. And it's Everton, who are absolute shite. They're terrible.
Yeah.
I think they're the worst team in the league, bar probably Luton.
Wow.
At this moment in time, out of 5 games, they're the worst looking team in this league. And I think Luton might have a bit more about them than them. I think they're terrible. Well, and yet, also, making sure, and I don't know, they're rubbish.
Look, Sean Dyche, his whole style is based off of, tight at the back, minimizing the goals going, all of that. Now, Everton have played, with all due respect to their opponents, they've played Fulham, Villa, Wolves, Sheffield United, and Arsenal. They've conceded 9 goals in that time. They've got 1 point. They've scored 2. Now, they haven't faced your Liverpools, obviously, Spurs, who's, flying, Man City, but they've let in 9 goals already. That's like very un-Dyche-like from those fixtures. Yeah, like if you was an Everton fan right now, how worried on a scale of 1 to 10? How
No,
worried would you be that this is the season that we are actually going to go down?
Oh, I'd be convinced that we would be going down if I was an Everton fan. Watching what I'm watching now, the only conclusion you can come to is you're getting relegated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you were lucky to get away with it last year, and nothing's changed. If anything, it might be worse. Because who did they lose?
Those games too.
Who did they lose in the summer window?
Oh, Everton. They lost. Damari Gray is gone to Steven Gerrard's team in Saudi Arabia. Who else did they lose?
Anyone else? Or was it just him?
I'm trying to think. But Damari Gray's gone. I can't even think. I don't know. I don't know who they lost.
It might not be anyone. I might think it's someone else. But they're just woeful. I've been saying it every game I've watched them, and they've been terrible.
Yeah.
And they're no different here. You know, I know it was Arsenal. Arsenal weren't that good on the day.
Yeah.
But they offer nothing going forward. They offer nothing. There's hardly any threat. I just don't see them surviving. Something has to drastically change for them to survive. Let's put it that way. I don't see it under Dyche. That's why he was my favourite, to be sacked. Because, but having said that, sacking Dyche doesn't solve the problem. What they've got there, I don't know who you bring in to manage what they've got. They're not good enough. Anywhere near it.
Well, just give me a score prediction. Everton's next Premier League game is away to Brentford. Brentford. They could get a point there. I wouldn't book them for a win, but I think there's every chance they could get a point against Brentford. But Brentford, a very tough team when they're at home. Exactly.
So maybe not.
Right, so the last game was Nottingham Forest 1, Burnley 1. That point for Burnley meant that they now have a point on the board. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. That was the last game, wasn't it? And again, I got up in the morning and watched it. And it started really lively, actually. Forest started really lively. Looked pretty good. And then it just tailed into not much happening.
Yeah.
It just went into not much. Who was it? Forest against who?
Burnley,
that's right. Yeah, and then it sort of died a death the whole game. It was just not a lot going on. And when you look at that, I mean, they bought another 15 players in, haven't they, Forest?
Yeah.
In this window. And then you see, my God, you got Divock Origi there now, and Hudson-Odoi, and
great goal by the way.
And I say Burnley got into the game, and they scored the opener, didn't they? They scored first.
Yes. Yeah.
Who scored for them, Titch?
I think he's a new player. I don't know him. Let me just get his name is Amdouni. But I don't know. Yeah, I think he's quite new. Amdouni. I think
can't remember
that was his debut. No, it wasn't. Sorry, it's not his debut. He's from Switzerland. They call him. I don't know if they call him the Swiss Messi. I don't know if that's the one. I saw somebody before the game. They labeled him either the Swiss Messi or another player that was new, as in So, but he scored. He opened the scoring for them.
I'm trying to remember the bloody goal on a card, but I remember the other goal.
It was a good goal. It came from, I don't know if it's a corner, came to him on outside the box, and he hit it right in the bottom corner. It was a good finish from him, actually. The ball came out to him, and he hit it first time. Both good goals.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did. Good finish. Good goal. But it sort of paled. And then it started to liven up a little bit. I say, when you see the players that they brought in again, Forest, and they've got a lot of attacking threat for us.
Yeah.
Really have, And Hudson-Odoi, I was watching it, I was keeping an eye on him, right? I don't know how many times we were linked to Hudson-Odoi over the years. And I'm watching him, and I'm looking at him and going, He's doing nothing. He's going to, he's getting the ball, he's holding it, and he's laying it back, and he's doing this. I said, I just don't think. I think he might be just an absolute waste of money. 8 seconds later, he cuts inside and hits this worldie, right up where the spiders hang, right in that top corner, mate. I went, oh, right, what the fuck do I know? I was caning him, and he actually a cracker. Yeah, really good finish. Great goal. There you go. And they got the point.
Yeah. I've asked you this already, but these two teams, do you feel Forest have enough and Burnley will maybe not have enough this season?
Yeah, that's what it's looking like at the moment. I can see what company's trying to do there. I just don't know if you've got the personnel to do it. Because obviously, I didn't watch the Championship last year, but they ripped it up, didn't they? They played great football and possession-based football and really tore it to pieces.
Yeah.
And I can see Josh Cullen is a big part of that with it.
Yeah.
And I know he worked with Josh Cullen at Anderlecht, didn't they, when company was there. And you can see he's a big part of that centre midfield, orchestrating what's going on. And Cullen's a good little player. He's not a great player, but he's a good little player, and he gives his all. And you can see what they're doing. But what I did notice about Burnley in the first half, their passing weren't good enough. They were doing all, it was all going in the right areas and the right triangles and moving it about, but it was so inaccurate, their passing, which, it shouldn't be. If this is what they were doing last year and you've got the same personnel, say, it shouldn't be. I don't know who you're playing against. If that pass is on, that pass is on. But they're very wayward. Whether it was just this one game, I don't know. I don't watch them week in, week out, every minute of their game. But I did watch every minute of this one. And, they was quite wayward. When they did get better, obviously the passing picked up. And they were hitting these triangles and plays, and they were quite happy to play it around the back, take chances and keep the ball and move it forward and break the press and that. And they look good in bits. They look good in bits. I just don't know, that's Nottingham Forest. Coming up against really top teams, I think that they could struggle because I think they might lose the ball too much. And it's like in the Premier League now. You can lose one pass there in that midfield and it's going to cost you a goal.
Yeah.
And, I said, maybe they'll be better. Maybe this is an off day. I don't know. But when I watched them last week, I thought they were nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. And let's say, they look like Luton. They look like a Championship side, but just better than Luton.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Right. This is a question. Final question. Right. So, Nottingham Forest, in this window, they brought in Anthony Elanga, who operates from the left. They brought in Callum Hudson-Odoi, who operates from the left. And for me, the left-hand side for West Ham was a problem position. Now, if you had to pick between Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, and Ben Rama for West Ham, who would you pick?
I'd stick with Ben Rama. I don't want Ben Rama.
Yeah.
No, that Elanga doesn't impress me. Like I said, I'm caning Hudson-Odoi, but he done what he did. Right? Yeah. So it's a screamer. But over the game, I thought he was reasonably ineffective.
Yeah.
And so, no, I want a winger that tears people apart. And I see, is that Koleoshu? Who's he for? Was that for? Koleoshu. What team was he playing in? Was that Forest?
I can't even think. Lineups. Forest, not Forest. No, he's for Burnley. It's Burnley. Him, Koleoshu. I just Burnley. Yeah, he's for Burnley.
Well, tell you what. That boy, he's raw. He looked really raw.
Yeah.
But my God, he's got pace. He's skinned that Montiel that was playing at right back. He skinned him a few times in the first half. Now, he was impressive. That's the kind of winger I'd like. But he's raw. He looks like he's got a long way to go, Titch. But the boy looked fast, good feet, quick. He set the goal up. He was the boy that cut round the back and cut the ball across for the boy to slot the goal home. Now I remember the goal because of that.
Right.
He impressed me.
Here's a bit of information about him. I'm just learning now. He turned 19 4 days ago. He's Italian, and they bought him from Espanyol. So he's, very, very young. Literally just turned 19.
Yeah.
So it could be one for the future for us.
You sure he's Italian?
Italian, yeah. Yeah, he's mixed race, isn't he? My complexion, but yeah, Luca.
Yeah, but this is maybe it's Italy he's gone for that. I think his mother is Canadian Italian.
Yeah.
His father's Nigerian, and he was born in America.
Oh, so that's what they said can represent. I think they said
four choices. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. So Luca, obviously Italian. Coliesho, whatever sounds. What country in Africa was that? Or you don't know?
Nigeria.
Yeah. So yeah, he's Yeah.
I thought he might have gone for Canada or something, but
well, he's played for Italy. He's represented Italy under 20, so he hasn't made his full international debut for anybody. So he's still available for any of those four. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was, but he does say he looked young. He looked raw. It looked like he run out of steam by that 70th minute.
Yeah.
But in the first half, he was impressive, man. That's the kind of winger I like. I mean, if you can get a good coach on him, a really good coach, I reckon he could be a bit of a star for the future.
Well, I'm going to keep my eye on him. Right, so listen, that wraps up our roundup for this week. And as always, it was a pleasure sitting down with the geezer.
What's up?
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is something that we're going to do every single week, and I hope to get back to doing more stuff on this channel. But this is something that we'll do every single week. Kieran, any final words before we end this video?
Yeah, after looking forward to the Premier League this week, it was quite disappointing most of the games. Bar, I thought about Brighton was a standout performance for me.
Yeah,
they were good. If you were a neutral, West Ham Man City's game might have been quite enjoyable to watch. There was some excitement in it. But a lot of the games were quite timid, quite boring. Very not that great. There weren't that much excitement from the last time we done this. There was a lot of bloody good games. Some great saves, some great goals. There weren't a great deal in this week, but I'm sure we'll have more to talk about next week after Europe and see what happens.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody that's tuned in. Thanks to Giza as always, and we will see you in the next one. Ciao.
See you later.